Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to give an overview of AI Studio or Google AI Studio. It's at aistudio.google.com, and it's more or less kind of very similar to Google Gemini or gemini.google.com, but AI Studio actually allows you to do a whole lot more than Gemini does. You can do pretty much anything Gemini does, plus um, use additional models. So anyway, I'm going to do an overview of Google AI Studio, just give you some of the basic things and get an idea of how to use it. And I think it's really incredibly useful. So again, go to aistudio.google.com. You might need to accept some permissions or terms of service or something. I had to, and anyway, so you might need to. So Google AI Studio is basically, yeah, just something like Google Gemini or like ChatGPT, only it allows you to use a whole lot of really cool tools that Google Gemini allows, plus a lot of other Google's other cool stuff in addition to some of their free AI, I mean their open source models, stuff like that. Okay, so let's get started. So here I'm at aistudio.google.com and it redirected to here, and you'll probably see something like this. And basically this first one is the prompt area, something like you might see in ChatGPT or Google Gemini or Hugging Chat. And so you would put a prompt here. And one of the awesome things here is that you can choose the model and have many different models you can choose. And I'm going to go over a lot of this here. Yeah, going over everything would take a very long time, but I'll just give you an overview here. So before I start here, I have some prompts to test qualities of a language model. And um, I'm going to pick this question here. So ask Google this question, basically the pros and cons of colonizing Mars. And right now I have chosen it to use the Gemini 2.2 Flash. And I think this is a really good model. And actually you can find it at gemini.google.com and then just choose the 2.0 Flash Experimental. I really like it. But you can use the same model here in AI Studio, plus additionally a lot more. So if you really like AI, I think AI Studio is amazing. And if you know how to code, I'll briefly discuss how you can use the API. I haven't actually used the API yet with Google AI, but I have with ChatGPT, but I think it would be similar. Okay, so let's ask this question here to Gemini 2.0 Flash, basically pros and cons of colonizing Mars. And you can see here, I think this is super fast. And yeah, so I think that's a really good answer. Okay, and I opened a new document just to show you how it could be, what's it like to copy the text. So here to copy the output, you can just click on copy text, or you can click on copy markdown. I'm just going to do copy text, but let's say you wanted to copy the markdown like this. Okay, so that's what markdown code looks like. And so many times I use this website, markdown to HTML. So for example, you could paste that in like that. But anyway, so I think that's really cool. So they allow you to copy it as markdown or as formatted text. So I think that's a really good answer from Google Gemini 2.0 Flash. Let's try to using the 1.5 the 1.5 Flash, this one. And this one might actually be paid. I'm not sure if this one, oh yeah, and you can copy this URL, for example, if you copy that, we can go to it and open it just like you might in ChatGPT. Now let's open up a new prompt. I want to test out a new model here. Let's try the Pro one. I wonder if the Pro one will work. Okay, I thought Pro maybe meant that it was paid, but maybe that is not the case. But the paid one is more expensive to use the API. Okay, anyway, so let's try out the 1.5 Flash. I'm gonna open a new one here. So I'm gonna try 1.0 Flash, and I'm gonna ask it a new question here. Let's say, okay, yeah, let's say this is a complicated question, okay? Quantum entanglement, but I just want to know if it knows about quantum physics and all that. So again, this is Gemini 1.5 Flash. Let's run this here. So imagine you have two coins that are magically linked. When you flip one, you instantly know the result of flipping the other, even if they're miles apart. If one lands heads, the other always lands tails, and vice versa. You don't have to look at the second coin to know its state. You already know because of their link. Okay, so that's a very good answer, I think. And okay, so now I want to go over some of these other things here on the side. So this one, yeah, this gives you some very detailed stuff. And even before ChatGPT came out, I was familiar with these sort of things. I used, I think it was GPT 3 or 3.5, and then ChatGPT revolutionized everything because it made this sort of thing easier. But yeah, so anyway, temperature gives kind of creativity. Um, and yeah, so often we want a little bit of creativity, but not too much. And then the values are between 0 and 1. Okay, and then here's the tools, create structured output. I'm not sure what that does exactly. And then this is if you're generating code, I believe, code execution. Like if you want to get JavaScript or Python. Okay, function calling, return generated function calls, grounding. It says search responses in Google, search results for text only, and provide links to relevant sources. Okay, I think actually that could be really useful. It says this feature uses results from Google search engine to ground your AI generated responses. I think that's a really useful one. Um, okay, so that's just another random thing you need to acknowledge. Okay, let me ask it, teach me about the basics of chemistry. Let's ask it that. And one thing I like about Gemini is that it's really fast. Okay, so here it gives all these different sources, which I think is really cool. So we've got teaches you different ideas about chemistry, and then it different types of chemistry. You've got biochemistry, physical, analytical, inorganic, and organic. I think it's a very good answer. And then the output length, the maximum number of tokens. I wonder what the maximum would be. Like for example, could I have that many tokens? Maybe 8192 is one of the limits. I honestly don't know. You need to play around with this a lot. And top P, probability threshold for top P sampling. Honestly, I forgot what that means. And then this one here, get code. This says get template API code for your prompt in different languages. Okay, so if you know about coding, this will basically, this is code that you could run the same prompt and you could use the API. But if you don't know how to code, then this is more or less kind of a waste of your time. But if you are interested, I think, for example, I know Python and JavaScript, and this could be incredibly useful for me because it would save me so much time. Like I use AI almost every day, and I do a lot of work with it, and a lot of this can save much time. Now, if you may need to get an API key, and I honestly don't know if this is free or not free. I haven't tried it, but here you can create an API key, and you can play around with that. Again, I haven't tested this, and there's if you search for the pricing online with the AI pricing, some of it is free, and I honestly don't know exactly how the pricing works with when you actually need to pay. because a lot of it says free of charge, and then some of it is you need to pay. So maybe it's if you go above a certain threshold, you have to pay, and then below a certain you don't. Okay, so you see here, these are different models, and I assume 8B means 8 billion parameters, and then this one here is maybe better, and this Pro one is, yeah, I don't know exactly all the differences between them, but it does give some things that are free and then some things that are paid. And then this is an older model. You probably would want to use the 1.5. And then this one, this is our state-of-the-art text embedding model. Okay, so you got these prices here. And yeah, so I think it would be worth trying this out. Certainly the free one. And if it's really good, then maybe you can go with the paid version. Okay, so again, all this stuff, if you want to do this programmatically with code and you know how to code, this is incredibly useful. But if you don't know how to code, it's totally fine. You can just use this AI Studio and just totally kind of ignore this. You don't need to use the code. Okay, so this is another thing I think that would be really useful, which is let's create a prompt and then this thing called compare. Compare allows you to compare the output from different models. So for example, let's compare Gemini 1.5 Flash to Gemini 2.0 Flash. And then again, I already have these concepts. Okay, how about I'll just ask it a really basic question. Teach me about dinosaurs and why many went extinct. Okay, so I'm really curious to know what it would say about this. Okay, so here the 1.5 is super fast and already finished, and the 2.0 is a bit slower, but it's giving a more thorough answer, and I don't know if this answer is slightly better. You can see here this one took 12 seconds and this took 5.8. So for example, this one says, what were dinosaurs? Dinosaurs were a diverse group of reptiles that dominated terrestrial ecosystems for over 165 million years. So this gives a lot of details. And this one here, okay, let's dive into the fascinating world of dinosaurs. We'll cover what they were, the different kinds, and so on. Okay, so this tool is super, super useful. So this basically allows you to do two prompts at once, which I think is super cool. And again, here you can copy the URL. So for example, if you want to open it, you can open that. And then here, the library, I think the library is your previous prompts. So that's really useful. And one really important thing to note is that this is saved to drive. You see up here. Earlier, I think there's some option to save your prompts. It might not save your prompts by default. I don't remember. So you might, when you get to AI Studio, you might have to click on some option that says make sure I save my prompts, because otherwise it might not save. And again, this is the library. And so, okay, so this was the comparison, and I think the comparison is really cool. And I don't want to go through all this because it would take so much time. But this is just basically the overview. And again, you can try different models. Okay, and one thing I wanted to try out was the Gemma models. So let's open here. And let's do a compare. So Gemma is our basically open source AI. So if you go to olama.com, you can get Gemma 2, and Gemma 2 is an open source model from Google. It's also on Hugging Face. I think the Gemini model is not open source, at least most of it, but some of it, the Gemma is. So Gemini, let's see what model this is. Gemini 1.5 Pro. I think that's probably not open source, but you can use the anyway, different models that could be open source. Okay, so let's go here. I'm going to do a compare, and then let's compare again the Gemma 2 2 billion parameters, and let's compare Gemma 2 27 parameters, 27 billion parameters. Okay, and let's say we ask it a question. I'll ask one of these here. Compose a persuasive argument for implementing renewable energy sources. Okay, I got that prompt a while ago. I think that's a good question, or a good, yeah, a good statement. So let's compare. So it's basically talking about renewable energy and see what's up. Okay, so this is the output from Gemma 2. And again, you could get this in Ollama if you know how to run on your own computer. Okay, so Gemma 2 I think is really fast. Gemma 2 2 billion is really fast, and this is 27. So you look, this is 8.1 seconds, and this is 12.7. And let's just compare. Brighter future, why we must embrace renewable energy. The world is at a crossroads. Our reliance on fossil fuels has fueled unprecedented economic growth, but at devastating cost to our planet. Okay, that's an interesting thing. And then this one here, the urgent call for renewable energy, a brighter future for all. We stand at a crossroads. Okay, I wonder if a lot of these are kind of template text, but I do think the answers are good. And surprisingly, I think Gemma 2, 2 billion, actually, the answer looks better than a 27 billion parameter. So you can compare, and yeah, like, great thing about the 2 billion one is it's really fast, and this one is a little bit slower, but maybe it's more thorough sometimes. It just depends. This is one example where I think the 2 billion was better, but maybe the 27 would be better in other cases. Okay, so let's open this up here. And I wanted to try this one here. So the stream real time I think is really interesting. So you can basically chat with Google, Google Gemini. I think that's really very cool. So let me ask this. Hi Google, I want you to teach me about dog training. I want to teach my dog some new tricks.
Okay, I can help you with that. Dog training involves teaching your dog specific behaviors through positive reinforcement. Do you have any specific tricks in mind you would like to start with?
Okay, so I just turned off the live stream, but I wanted to play you here. Here you can, I think this is super cool. You can actually play the output Google gave, and also you could see the text. I don't know if it will let you copy this text like, let's see here. Yeah, you can just copy it like just manually, but I wanted to show you can play it like this here.
Okay, I can help you with that. Dog training involves teaching your dog specific behaviors through positive reinforcement. Do you have any specific tricks in mind you would like to start with?
Okay, and then now something that's also super cool is that you can download the audio. I think that's super, super cool. Okay, so I'm going to play you the downloaded thing I got from AI Studio.
Okay, I can help you with that. Dog training involves teaching your dog specific behaviors through positive reinforcement. Do you have any specific tricks in mind you would like to start with?
Okay, so I think that's a really amazing answer, or at least it's pretty, it's great, honestly. Okay, so let's continue. Click on Start a New Stream. I'm going to chat a little bit longer with it. Okay, so I'm going to talk to Gemini. Hi, Gemini. I want you to teach me, how do I teach my dog how to get potty trained?
Sure, I can help you with that. Potty training a dog involves setting a routine, positive reinforcement, and consistency. Would you like me to elaborate on these steps?
Okay, and this one I'm gonna close the live. Okay, so I just closed the live here. And then this one here also is cool. I want to see, I just recorded my voice and I want to hear what the recorded voice of myself sounds like. Okay, and this is also super, super cool. So I basically just recorded my voice, like I said, in Gemini, or I mean AI Studio, and just hear what my voice sounds like. Hi, Gemini. I want you to teach me, how do I teach my dog how to get potty trained? Okay, so that is extraordinarily difficult to do that. That's yeah, anyway, you're speaking to an AI, but it's very difficult to train it to actually understand your voice And yeah, there's so many steps involved in that, and I think that's amazing that it can understand you. You can download the voice, you can download Google Gemini's voice, and this is a cool thing here. We can change the different voices. So this is Pak Charan, uh, and I don't know how to say some of these other names, but let's just change to Charan, and I want to play a new stream. Hi, tell me about the difference between dogs and cats. Which one is more a more fun pet to have?
Okay, I can help with that. Dogs and cats are different in many ways, including their behavior, training, and care needs. Dogs are typically more social and need more attention, while cats tend to be more independent. When it comes to which one is more fun, it really depends on the individual and their preferences, as some people prefer the companionship of a dog, while others prefer the self reliance of a cat. Which qualities do you value more in a pet?
Okay, I think that is an amazing answer. So Charon was one interesting voice. Also, and I'll click on this person's voice. Okay, I'm gonna ask another question. Hi, how can someone start making a full-time income with e-commerce online, 100% online, working remotely?
E-commerce is definitely a great option for a full-time income. You could start by choosing a niche market, then create an online store and find suppliers.
Can you recommend a plan for me to make 1,000 US dollars in profit per month within a year? Give me a plan.
Sure, here is a possible plan. First, you would need to select a profitable niche, then research your competitors and find reliable suppliers. After that, create a user-friendly online store, start marketing your products, and finally focus on delivering excellent customer service. Would you like me to elaborate on any of these steps?
Okay, I think that's an amazing answer. And yeah, I sell online myself, but yeah, to make money online is definitely not easy, and there's a lot of steps involved. But I think that this gives a great answer. Um, okay, so let's go back to stream real time again. And unfortunately, I can't show you this show Gemini your webcam because I'm filming this right now with my webcam. And share to screen, that might be interesting, but again, I'm recording this, so I don't think that would work. And then this one might be cool. Upload a photo, spatial understanding, video analyzer. So this stuff would seem really interesting to try out. I just don't really have time to do that. And this one here, if you know about data tuning, I think this would be really interesting to try out, to tune a model. So that's something you can do. I think that's pretty cool. And then prompt gallery. Um, this gives you a lot of different cool things here. A confusion matrix. Um, yeah, that's a data science thing that's specialized. Um, yeah, so I have all these really cool different prompts. Let's click on this one, pet care. Identify and care for your plants. Do you know what plant this is? How do I best take care of it? Ah, that's super cool. So it knows that this, what the plant is. I don't know, they must have trained on so many different plants, but I think that's really, really cool. So for this to actually know what it is, I imagine they might need millions of photos or thousands of photos because there could be so many different types of plants and you'd want many different variations of photos for the just one species. So I think this is really, really cool. A Persian shield. And I like these purple, they look like purple leaves. I think that looks really nice. Okay, so I think that is a very interesting thing. Um, I accidentally clicked on this one here, the API documentation. So again, if you know how to code, this would be useful for you. If you don't know how to code, this is more or less a waste of your time. Um, then here's a developer forum, that would be cool, changelog. So I think this is super amazing, the Google AI Studio. And again, it's at aistudio.google.com. So if you're someone who really loves AI, aistudio.google.com I think is really amazing. And it's essentially Google Gemini plus a lot of other things. You can go to gemini.google.com, and use this just like ChatGPT or Hugging Chat. But I think AI Studio is very unique in that you can do a lot more specialized things. You can compare two different models. You can use many different models, including the AI models, Gemma models. And yeah, I think Google AI Studio is super cool, and I definitely think it's worth your time. And one thing I personally want to look into is, what do I say? Oh yeah, and let's see here. Something I would personally want to look into is the coding, like the API stuff. The reason being is because if you know how to code, you can do this all kind of automatically, and it could save you a ton of time. Like I personally I make a lot of YouTube videos or videos I post onto YouTube and Instagram and others. And sometimes making the title, description, hashtags is very time consuming. But and even I use AI prompts to do a lot of that. But if I use an API, it could save a ton of time. And again, a lot of the stuff is free. So this was an overview of Google AI Studio. I think it's really amazing from Google. Most of it is free. And yeah, I think it's definitely worth trying out. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.